This is the 2023 Land Rover Range Rover Evoque S. Is it the perfect small luxury SUV for you to purchase? We're going to try to answer that question for you in today's Vehicle Visionary video. I borrowed this model from my friends at Land Rover of Shreveport. We're going to take a close look at the ins and the outs of this small luxury SUV. It's a great place to start if you are wanting to get into the Land Rover brand, but maybe not spend the higher prices. And we'll start here with the front end. If you like the look of the Discovery or the Discovery Sport, well, it's very similar to what you have here. A little bit smaller, but basically the same overall design. A very nice looking headlight housing. There's going to be LED headlights, the nice looking blinker, and you can really see how everything is kind of flowing with the direction of the vehicle. At least when you're driving in drive. In reverse, not so much, but it does work well that way. And then we're going to have the air curtain right here. Kind of hard to see all the way through there, but you do have an air curtain that works its way all the way through and comes out right here to help improve gas mileage. And a lot of great safety features, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist. It's all here, and it really works well with this vehicle. It's all-wheel drive, by the way. And everything is functional up here. Obviously the upper grille, nice and functional. Really a very nice overall look. And have that Land Rover badge over here on the left-hand side. And obviously plenty of air getting in, even down here on the lower portion of the bumper with the lower grille. And I know a question a lot of you like to have answered. Does it have turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors? Yes, it does. In fact, they're not only going to have the heated power folding side view mirrors, but also, like you see, or power adjustable I should say, but also power folding, as you just saw right there. And the good thing about this I really like is that you have the flush mounted door handles. So you walk up or hit the button on the remote, those are going to pop out and be accessible for the driver and the passengers. You got the rear privacy glass there and a really nice slope to the, or angle I should say, to the roof line. Very much accentuated and really finished off nicely with the rear roof spoiler right here. A fairly large spoiler for such a small vehicle, but it fits perfectly back here. The shark fin antenna back there. And what don't you see back here? You have a really clean look with this rear window because there's no rear window wiper here, but that doesn't mean it's not here. It's just concealed up in this area right here inside of that rear roof spoiler. There's a look at the nice and, well, I'd say fairly elegant looking tail lights. And as far as getting down the road, what's under the hood? Let's open the hood and we'll find out. Here under the hood, the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 246 horsepower and 269 pounds-feet of torque, mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. It is all-wheel drive. And let's walk over here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this very well, but you know, for being a small SUV, you would expect great gas mileage, and that's what you have. 20 city, 27 highway, 22 combined. And according to Land Rover, right here, 4.5 gallons of gas is what you should use per every 100 miles you drive. And at the price point, even though it's not horribly high, it is nice to see that it does have the hydraulic hood struts here. Instead of that manual prop rod, you have to hunt around and put in place yourself. Tire size comes in at 235/50, so 235 on the width, 50 on the sidewall. That's this area right here. It's going to help to improve ride quality because it has a lot more absorption power than it would if it was a low profile tire. And the rim size normally on these would be 18 inches on these Evoques. And you can see that's not 18 inches, that's 20 inches. One thing that is impressive here is the towing capacity. 3,968 pounds is what Land Rover says you should be able to tow. That's more than a Honda Ridgeline that is rated to tow 3,500 pounds. And I'm going to give you a couple of different numbers here as far as cargo capacity goes. 21.5 up to 50.5 cubic feet is what you have. But what does that really mean? The width of the door, even though it's a little hard to see here just because of space constraints, is 40 inches. So that's going to be how wide this area is. Height-wise, we're looking at about 26.5 inches. And with the seats in their upright position, the depth is going to be 31 inches. And with the seats in their down position, maximizing cargo capacity, you're looking at about 65 inches, and that's going to vary a little bit depending on where those front seats are located. And while with everything on the floor here, I'm not going to lift the floor up, but underneath here you will find a full-size spare tire. And obviously this is a power rear lift gate, just in case you are curious. And here with the rear doors, you do have a fairly deep door bin, at least this area right here, where you could put snacks or drinks or whatever you want to put right there, whatever your rear seat passengers want to put in right there. And one more thing, I showed you the seats in their down position, but you have a third option here with this pass-through. There's a button located right up here that you push to make that happen. And then obviously going to have the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in, and seat pockets on the back of both seats. That's going to be useful, and a large panoramic sunroof. Now it's one solid piece, so it doesn't actually open. So if you're looking for that, well, sorry, but it is what it is in this case. And here we go with our rear air conditioning vents. We're going to have that, and connectivity down here as well. Not a lot going on down there other than a 12-volt power outlet, which is kind of a surprise, but it is what it is. And here on the driver's side door, you're going to find a little bit of brushed aluminum here, as well as some gloss black trim. The aluminum handle, kind of a chrome look right there. And then, well, a little bit larger door bin than what we saw in the rear. Power seats for the driver and the passenger. And I'd say a nice looking dash overall. Really kind of an elegant look, just the way everything is shaped. The shape and design of the air conditioning vents. You have the gloveless glove box down here, as I like to call it, because there's never any gloves in there. You'll find other things, but no glove box. And a really clean and simplified area for the shifter right here. Not a lot of buttons to deal with, just the traditional shifter right here. Not a push button shifter. Well, it is to a degree, but ultimately it is a regular shifter. The cup holders right there, and well, not exactly Bombay doors, but you do have two different doors here that open up. And then down in there, you're going to have connectivity options and quite a bit of space for an SUV of this size. All right, let's take a look in through the driver's side door. And you pretty much have an idea of what all is here. All the controls for the windows, door locks, power door mirrors, all that good stuff. It's all here. We'll hop inside here. Obviously, you're going to have your turn signal lever right here, and you can control the headlights and all that good stuff. Exterior lighting on the vehicle. And you can see the Evoque sitting there on the screen, ready for action. We're going to push the push button start here to start everything up and let you see what that nice, modern-looking digital instrument cluster looks like. There's a lot of good things you can go through right there as far as what's going on with the vehicle. You can see what radio station you're listening to, as you can see right there. And then we're going to have adaptive cruise control, some safety features here, things you can deal with right there. And then you can go through all your information on the dashboard up there with this side. And then here we go with one of my favorite features. And don't worry about that blinking effect that you see. That is due to my camera. It has nothing to do with these screens or with Land Rover. But you can see with the 10-inch Pivi Pro, which Pivi Pro is just great. I'm so happy that Land Rover put this system in to these Evoques. Just so much better than the previous generation of infotainment screens. But you can see what all is going on with the vehicle. There's a lot here to see and know about with the vehicle as far as what you've got. I mean, it is just practically endless what you can discover here. And here's a few other things. You can go through your accounts. You can go into navigation right there. A really nice system. Let's see if we can give you a better view. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. I apologize for that blinking, but just one of those things with these GoPros. They tend to do that, depending on the lighting conditions more than anything else. And you can see the camera there. That's going to show you what your view is. You can change the view right here, as you can see with what I'm doing, touching those little areas right there on the screen. And then obviously when you go into reverse, you're going to get that as well with the addition of those trajectory lines that do follow the direction of the steering wheel. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. We'll get them to move around for you just a little bit. Going back into park now, and you might wonder, you notice the screen has a little bit of an angle to it. You can change that angle here if you want to right here. And the thing about it is that it used to be that you could just hold that button down right there, or that option I should say, on the screen, but now you have to actually tap it. It used to not be that way. I made fun of people who used to do that in the past, and Land Rover must have said, we'll show you, Tom, we're gonna make it work where you have to tap the screen now. So anyway, you can go in and make changes to so many different things, see great features here. The graphics are phenomenal within this infotainment screen. I wish that I could do better justice for you with what all it has here. It's just one of those things with these GoPros, like I said. And then here on the lower screen, again, tied into the Pivi Pro, you can go in and change settings with the air conditioning. We're going to turn sync on right there so that the temperature is the same. We have dual zone climate control here. And then you can go in and turn on your seats, the heated seats, if you want to, whatever you want to do there, that will work just fine. Unfortunately, it's just heated, but not necessarily a big deal because we're into the cooler time of the year here in Northwest Louisiana. If it really gets cool here, right? Not much, but it does get a little cool sometimes. And here's the knob for controlling the radio. People really like that. I've seen car makers do away with it, and then they have to bring it back because they're asked to. Traction control, hill start assist, it's all here. It's very easy to use, a very nice modern looking interior here with these Evoques. But the one final question that we may want to answer is, what is it like to drive out on the road? Is 246 horsepower enough? Let's find out right now. Okay, we're out on the road for our test drive, and I can tell you something here. Some people are going to say 246 horsepower is not enough. Well, I don't know if you can hear that little four-cylinder going to work, but it's definitely not a problem. In fact, it really gets up and goes really well. The horsepower to weight ratio with these Evoques is very good. So 246 horsepower does the job, that's for sure. It would be nice to have a carload of passengers and plenty of cargo in the rear and see what it does then, but I still think it would be in good shape. It just seems to have plenty of power, and that torque definitely does a great job. You can feel that going to work as well. The ride quality is good. You're going to have the benefit, as I showed you earlier, that increases the comfortable ride quality with the size of the sidewalls. So there's a lot going on here that really makes it good. Pretty easy to see out of. The back window's a little bit on the narrow side, but if you move your head down at the right position, or you're just the perfect height, that's not going to be a problem. And obviously, being all-wheel drive, well, that's going to be beneficial when it snows outside. Depending on where you live, you may deal with a lot of snow and ice, and so that really helps. All-wheel drive is the best thing for that. And there are multiple driving modes. We didn't cover that earlier, but you can get to that through the screen down here. I'm not going to go through all of that information right now, but there are the same multiple driving modes there have been for a long time with these Evoques that allow you to pretty much have the capabilities to drive on any road surface or any situation you might deal with. And yeah, the Evoque does have some light off-roading capabilities. It may not be the highest in that area, but if you live in an area where you deal with a lot of snow, mud, sand, whatever, depending on, you might live up in the mountains, it's good for that kind of thing. It will definitely handle that kind of terrain. I'm not saying you're going to go out and run the Baja 1000 or anything like that, so don't get me, saying things I'm not really saying there, or say that I am, but overall, very impressed here. The technology is actually very simplistic, very easy to use, and if you've never had this kind of technology before, it's easy to learn. So, don't be afraid of it. I know a lot of people out there, there's still a lot of people who have never had this kind of technology before, and so I know a lot of people are kind of shying away from it, but ultimately, a lot of these vehicles, there are some on the road that don't have the easiest to learn technology, but here, not too bad, especially with the Pivi Pro infotainment system. And hey, right where you are right now is a great place to learn if you're struggling. YouTube, there's all kinds of videos here to help out with that sort of thing. So overall, having a really good experience here. It definitely does a good job getting down the road. Acceleration is perfect for what it is, and it's, like I say, comfortable ride quality. The seating itself is nice and comfortable, and overall, a really solid vehicle when it comes to the driving experience. Now, one thing to consider here is that this is not the highest trim level, and it's not fully spec'd out. So there's a lot of room to step up if that's what you would like to do. So tell me down in the comments section, do you think the Land Rover Range Rover Evoque is the perfect small luxury SUV? Tell me your answer and tell me why you answered the way that you did. And gotta say a special thanks to my friends here at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this Evoque for the day. And a special thank you to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.